Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage, and Nicholas Kim Coppola is also Nicky.
And Nick.
Did you notice that?
Wait, I guess not. Who?
So
what?
when he's playing the Nicky version of himself, his alter ego who gives him his pep talks, he is credited in the credits as Nicholas Kim Coppola, which is Nicolas Cage's real name.
Oh, fascinating. See,
so
I
that's
wondered,
his true self.
Gotcha. I wondered if that was somebody else and they just sort of like slapped his face on it or how that worked. But
anyway, we're talking about a movie.
Yes.
Are you confused? You should be, because there's a lot going on in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I am so happy that you're here.
Is this supposed to be me? It's grotesque. I'll give you 20,000 for it.
This is a celebration of all things Nicolas Cage, and it is a complete hoot. So Nicolas Cage plays Nick Cage. He's playing a version of himself. He's sort of in flux professionally, personally. He's really like gunning for gigs that he wants, like desperately pleading with like David Gordon Green to let him read for him. There's a lot of bleeding of like reality and like the fictionalized version of people here, which is very fun. And he gets this offer through his agent, played by Neil Patrick Harris. He gets this offer to go to a super wealthy, super fans villa on Mallorca.
Right.
And all he has to do is go hang out with him for his birthday and he'll get $1 million for it. And Nicolas Cage, being a serious artist, thinks he's way above that, but then he can't land any work. So he's like, fine, I'll go. So he goes. And then on the way there, he gets intercepted by, are they CIA or are they FBI?
CIA.
So Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz play the CIA officers who intercept him and say, look, this guy who you're going to stay with is actually like a serious criminal, drug cartel guy, gun runner. We need you to be our eyes and ears inside and help us land him. And so he views it like, well, no big deal. I'm an actor. I can just act. But what happens is that he and this guy, played by Pedro Pascal, become total buddies. And they have this really lovely bromance. And so it's all different kinds of movie at once. It is, above all else, a celebration of Nicolas Cage. And what is so fun about it is that it reminds you of his longevity and his versatility. And yet the fact that no matter what kind of movie he is, there is that constant of, you know, what you're getting with Nick Cage, whether he's the Nick Cage of Moonstruck or the Nick Cage of Face Off or the Nick Cage of Mandy or the Nick Cage of The Croods.
Yes.
You know what you're getting with him. And it's really fun. And I was impressed with the way that this film sort of is a self-aware kind of homage to a certain kind of movie, and then slowly but surely becomes a legitimate example of that in the way that like Shaun of the Dead does.
Yes.
With, it has this zombie movies.
It has this very meta thing where Cage and the Pedro Pascal character start working on a screenplay, and of course the screenplay they're developing is commenting on the actual story as it unfolds in the film, which sounds like it could be really precious or up its own ass, but they managed to make it work and make it funny. And Cage playing this version of himself just means that like you never know what's going to come up in conversation. You know, is it going to be Con Air or is it going to be Captain Corelli's mandolin? You don't know. His estranged wife is played by Sharon Horgan, whom I adore. They have a teenage daughter that he's trying to sort of reconnect with. And is his beard like dyed? Like is that what's going on?
Everything dyed? Yeah. I feel like all the hair.
Yeah, but it's a just bad enough dye job where you look at it and go, you know, whereas opposed to like, I'm sure if actual Nick Cage, if he were to ever dye his hair, would do so beautifully that you would never notice it. If I'm saying, I kind of went into this thinking I knew what it was going to be and how it was going to be, and I was constantly sort of pleasantly surprised by the grace notes they find in this thing that could have very easily just been a one joke movie. I think it really, if you are hesitant and suspicious, I don't blame you, but I think you might want to give it a shot.
So I don't think you need to be a huge Nick Cage fan or have seen all these movies to enjoy it. I went with a mom friend of mine who loves movies, but is not nearly as well steeped in all things Cage as you and I are professionally. So there are things that I laughed at that I got, like there's a Wicker Man joke.
I was going to say, if you know that one, it's a great gag, but if you don't, you're okay.
Right. And there's just a lot of little tiny references here and there that are very cute, but I don't think you need to know all that to have a good time and just enjoy the chemistry between him and Pedro Pascal. They're just so cute together, and it's a really sweet and feels like a very organic friendship that you find yourself being surprisingly emotionally invested in. Sharon Horgan is fantastic as always, just so much charisma and such fantastic timing. And she always finds really unexpected ways into her dialogue. Like she'll give a line delivery that just catches you off guard. Like, oh, that was good. And there's one bit where she's actually doing an Irish accent here, which she does not get to do all the time. But she has to turn on an American accent in one scene and it just grabs you. Oh, she just steals that scene. Yes. So it's really fun. I had a good time. I did our fellow critic, Scott Weinberg, has a podcast called Overhated.
Yes.
And he and I are going to be talking about The Wicker Man on there pretty soon. So that was kind of fun to go back and revisit that. And then on our community page here at our YouTube channel, I've got a poll going asking folks, what's your favorite kind of Nick Cage? Is it comedies? Is it dramas? Is it action? Is it batshit stuff like The Wicker Man or Bad Lieutenant?
Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah. So, I mean, what would you say? What kind of Nick Cage do you like best?
Somewhere between batshit and comedy. Like I love him in Moonstruck. I love him in it's in my Christmas book. The one about where he and John Lovitz and Dana Carvey like rob the bank and then can't leave the town.
So yeah, this is really fun. And I'm saying 8.3. What are you saying?
I said 8.
So Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This is an earlier review of it. Yeah. It's coming out on Friday theatrically.
Theaters only, yes.
Okay. So if you're thinking about going to the theater, Nick Cage compels you.
And put the bunny down.